from Data East Pinball.
Ever since I was a young boy, I played the silver ball. From Soho down to Brighton, I must have played them all. But I ain't seen nothing like it in any amusement hall. That deaf, dumb, blind kid sure plays a mean pinball.
Look. I hate using that gag over and over, but what a great song. And what a terrific looking game. And this one has some new stuff that no one has ever done before. Jason's not here to show what he did, but he put the LEDs up here to light up our plane, and Frank, who's working the camera, put in these red LEDs. Doesn't that look terrific, guys? Isn't this beautiful? Walter, come over here. Is this not the Catch Me Out, baby?
Where are you? Came out very nice.
Now, I understand you put 2 or 3 screws in it.
Yeah, why not?
You also printed up the color, the
Didn't have
cards
much to
here.
do with this one, so.
No, you didn't. But actually, was Tony working this? No, Jason. Jason did this whole machine while I was in Florida, at Disney World, and I came back to this beauty. Look at this beautiful back glass. Stephen is going over this cabinet. My God, look at it. The only thing left are the leg bolts. They're going to get painted black. We do that at the very end. This one is on its legs. And then we have our ball up top. By the way, if you look in the ball, do you see the reflection, Tommy? Isn't that neat? It's painted on the top here. And it comes out there. Isn't that clever? We have our new super flash lamps in here, inserted in here. And we have regular bulbs here. We also have, back here,
Let's knock all the bulbs out, why don't you?
Jason's going to pay for that. He had that set up for that to pop out.
No, it was fine till you touched it.
We have a Rotten Dog power supply in there, brand new. And we decided to put a new one in. Run everything nice and even. New connector here we put on, because that always burns out because of the GI connections. But with all LEDs, that won't even get warm. So we don't have to worry about that going in again. And look here, we're now putting a
Coin cell.
a coin cell with a easy change connector in there. So you'll be able to pop out the cell when it goes dead and put a new one in yourself. You can buy that at the local hardware store. Or, I guess, the
Walmart, AutoZone.
Walmart, AutoZone, whoever sells the cell. That's the same size cell that's in most of the clickers for your car to unlock your doors.
Yeah, come up with your own stuff. I already said that last week.
I was watching your videos, and I didn't like the whale references, Franklin.
Well, in that case, maybe cut yourself back down to 17 plates of food instead of your usual 25.
I walked a lot of miles in Disney World, about 8 miles a day. Then I ate an awful lot, too. I love food. I guess you saw some of the posts on, I did a couple posts on the different, our website, and TNT Amusements Facebook page, so you could see some fun stuff we did down there. We walked around the arcades and looked at their games. Didn't do much. We were so busy, with our girls.
Did you fix any of their games while you were down there?
I suggested that they should make all the arcades free. I mean, there was nobody in them. There was hardly anybody in them. And rather than build a brand new attraction, if they made all the arcades free, since Disney owns all the games themselves anyway, if everything was free, it would be such a great perk. And we get the arcades filled and people will be playing games again. And they'll be able to say, yeah, we go to Disney World, we can play arcade games for free. I don't think they like my idea. Anyway, we will get back
They're
to
online too. They got 40 games they want to sell you.
Well, let's look over here. We have connectors we reheated, of course, and we did the same down here. This was a game that we had sold years ago to a customer, and he sold it back to us. Or traded it back to us. Traded it back because he was tired of it. How can you get tired of Tommy? How can you get tired of Tommy? Now, this game has a really, really neat, unique feature. In here, you can't see it. See right in here? There's something called blinders. And if you look at the card here, it tells here that you can become Tommy. Hint, you can become Tommy by holding the extra ball button when starting your game. So when you initially play the game, you can see your flippers. But, oh, you know what? I'll tell you what. Let's show you what it looks like without the bow tie on. With the bow tie off, you can see the arrangement of the arch. They call this the arch. And this little circuit board runs it. Now Frank has actually built this one. The original board inside didn't work and it had a ton of parts on it. So Frank actually made up his own and programmed this chip, and it uses the same connectors. Frank, tell them a little about your board.
Well, what happened is the original board, for some reason, wasn't passing the signal from the logic board to the servo. Servo's not a standard motor. A servo needs pulses. It gets a pulse every 20 milliseconds, and the length of each pulse determines its position. So a 1 millisecond pulse sets it at 0. A 2 millisecond pulse sets it at 180 degrees.
And this is the servo here.
Right. So right now, it's getting a pulse of about maybe 1.55.
So the motor's actually on right now as we speak.
Right.
Now when I push this test button, watch what happens. Opens, closes. Isn't that neat? And that'll, of course, will cover the flippers and it'll stay activated until the game turns it off. But the motor is always on the whole time you have it. Now, do you see how when I push the button, it's on, it's not moving? See, you can't move it. But once the machine is actually turned off, like so, then the motor, see, the motor moves freely. See? So the motor is actually active all the time. See, when you first turn it on, it locks it in. Pretty neat, Frank. Good job on this too.
Well, this is just a prototype board. I am probably going to run off about 20 or so, and we'll give one to the customer. And the final version of the board will have probably fewer components. And I had to make up this adapter because these are 0.100 cables. This is a 0.156, and the board's drilled for 0.100. So rather than try to modify the board, it was easier to just make this patch cable.
Perfect. And then what we'll do also is that board can also be used in Frankenstein, I think.
I have to get well, this is the base now. When I have access to a Frankenstein, what I have to do is, all I had to figure out was what the signals were that the logic board is sending down to request the blinders closing. And that's all this does. Right now, all it's doing is just listening. This blue line right here is the data line from the logic board. There's actually 3 lines that come down. There's a clock, a data, and a clear line. There's 5 volts, there's 12 volts, and there's ground. The 5 volts gets passed right through to the servo. The 12 volts gets regulated down to 5 volts and powers the rest of the circuitry. That was the way the original board was done, but these small microcontrollers draw such small amounts of current that my final board will probably, I can eliminate that and just run off the same 5 volt line. The only other thing is this board does not have trim pots. I don't need them on this board because I can change the degrees, angles of the stroke in the programming. So when I do make the final board, I will add pots, so this way the customer can make adjustments, and all I have to do is just add a few lines of code to the software, and then it'll be able to read the pots and make adjustments accordingly.
Good. Let's get back to the game. Pretty sharp, huh? That's pretty neat, huh? I'm going to start a game in a minute, but I want to point out a few last things. We have our clear washers, our Lexan washers, so we don't have those big ugly silver washers that people put on. So these you can see through and see the plastics. Protecting all of our posts, we also have these wonderful red and orange posts that we've put on the field from Cliffy Protectors. And he makes those now. Never had one wear out yet. We've been using them for, I guess, about 2 or 3 years. And of course we have the super bright LEDs lighting the play field. Boy, it looks terrific. Now, with the blinders, we hold the button in, and then we hit the start button. And watch. Isn't that neat? I'm going to turn the volume up. It's such a great track. Now this is music from the Broadway show. And the first shot's a still shot, which I conveniently missed. I'll get my ball back. Look. No, I didn't. I was on the field too long. No ball save, Frank. It didn't even get two flippers. I didn't even have half a chance. Now I got it. See? Pretty good, huh, Frank?
Awesome.
Now I just need one more hit on the Tommy. Isn't that a great track? Now this has a woofer in the bottom and two tweeters at top. Pretty good, huh? Now watch. I didn't like that. It went into ball search. See, now we go in here. Now go into this hole, goes to the multi-ball. Keep forgetting there's a third flip right there. This is what happens when you don't play pinball for a week. Now when we lose our multi-ball, we go back into regular play and start to play then sometimes we get Now I can reactivate the multi-ball restart, shoot the mirror, or I could go in this hole, or up the mirror hole. Let's see if my skills are terrific enough to do it, Frank. I'm running out of time. Do you hear that close countdown? Nope. Look how they did the scores. Isn't that terrific? Isn't that neat? One of Databeat's greatest games. Just needs a better player, Frank. Isn't it nice how nice and bright it is up top, man? Let's go right into that skill hole again. There we go. Not bad, huh, Frank?
Why are you great?
I take great pills. No, we're not going to play. Now watch the blinders. Watch what happens. Pretty nice, huh?